Hello, YouTube, and a very Merry almost Christmas. The reason why I'm showing you this right now, with Christmas just around the corner, it's just a couple of days away, is because everything that you are looking at was made by me in less than 2 hours earlier this afternoon. And I figured I can't be the only last minute decorator out there. And, if you're looking for something to do that looks like it took a really long time and actually didn't, this is the DIY video for you. So stay tuned. I will show you how to make both of these wreaths, and everything that you're looking at was made for, I'd say, around $35, and most of this is stuff that you probably already have lying around, or things that you can get very quickly, cheaply, and easily. Hello everyone, and happy holidays. This is Jacoby, and I'm going to show you how to make a really quick, cheap, and easy decoration for your upcoming Christmas party or whatever holiday event that you have coming up that you waited until the last minute to decorate for. If you're anything like me, I tend to do everything at the last minute, from shopping to decorating, and so I totally understand and I hope to help you out a little bit. Depending on how shameless you are, you can severely cut the cost of this DIY by yoinking your stir sticks from your local
Random
Starbucks.
coffee shop.
I wouldn't necessarily suggest stealing the entire thing, especially if someone is watching you. But the coffee costs like $5. I don't think anybody will fault you for grabbing, a small handful of these. But just use your own discretion. You don't want to end up like on a bulletin somewhere. And the same thing goes with the towel paper. You could also buy them at a place like Office Depot or Home Depot or Staples, some kind of office supply place. First thing you're going to want to do is take your wreath outside and spray paint. So while my wreath frames are outside drying, I'm going to start making my coffee stick stir stars. The best way to do this is to freehand a star onto a piece of paper. What's great about this project is that if the stars are kind of imperfect in shape, it doesn't matter. It just adds character to the whole thing. So the first thing you'll want to do is lay down a stick and put a little bead of hot glue right on the line where the two sticks are going to touch. And you don't want to use a ton of hot glue because it'll squish off and glue your sticks down to the paper. And you can always lift it up just to make sure that that's not happening. Now, I follow the lines and add little beads of glue everywhere where the next stick is going to touch. And I'm going to do that until I've made a whole star. What's great about this project is that you can throw on a TV show or just put some music on that you like, and eventually you get into a rhythm, and this will go very quickly. You can also make little baby stars like that. This one's about 3 inches, and for that I would suggest drawing out a baby star, and then you're going to cut your sticks in half. That way you don't waste your sticks, and you have a little bit of variety. Okay, so in just a few minutes, I've made 4 big stars and 3 small ones. Now you might be wondering why I overlapped the sticks so much and just left them like that. And the reason why is because if you want to get these really pretty sharp edges, The best way to do that is to overlap your sticks, and then you just cut right along the edge of each stick so that it makes a point. Even with this, you want to be careful how you're cutting it. You might want to hold on, you know, not so close that you cut your fingers, but you want to hold on so that if the wood starts to split, see that one just split a little bit, but because I was holding it, it doesn't matter. Here's my wreath, all painted on both sides. You can't see a bit of the dark green. It's nice and gold, so really good spray paint. I'm going to turn it so that it's face down. And if you've never worked with a wreath frame before, the wreath frame will bow out a little bit like that. So when you turn it face down, it should be like concave, like that. And I'm going to take my box of Christmas lights. Depending on how many of these wreaths you decide to make, you may want to wrap like some of the lights around and then save a little bit to wrap the next wreath like I'm going to do. Or if you decide to make just one big wreath, you might want to wrap all of your lights. So the part that I want to have hanging down is the part that plugs into your extension cord. So the part that would receive another plug is the part that you want to hide behind your wreath. And since they're already zigzagged like that, it's kind of perfect for me to work the bulbs from the back so that they're sticking out in the front. All right, so now that I've got my baby wreath all wired up, I'm going to bring in my big wreath, and you want to make sure to leave a few inches in between, so that way if you need to store it, you can just fold it over like that, or it's a lot easier than connecting it really tight. Leave a few inches in between, and I'm actually going to use the twisty tie that came with the lights. Hopefully your set will have that, the twisty tie that's bundling them together. And I'm going to take that twisty tie, and first I'm going to secure the two ends of the lights on the small wreath. So this will help to keep the big plug from popping out from behind, and it'll help when I pull the lights across to start wiring the big wreath, it won't start to pull them out of the small. So make sure you get those two ends, secure them behind your wire wreath frame, and twisty tie them until they are secure. Set that aside, and now we're going to wire our big wreath. Once you've found where the lights begin, you want to take that end and the beginning, and I'm going to wire those two pieces like so. That way, and I'm going to zoom out again, you know exactly how much light you have to work with. Like, kind of like stretching a canvas. If you work from the four corners, or from the four, like you make a cross shape, and then work out from there, you'll have a nice even stretch. And all I have to do is just attach the lights in each quadrant, and I know that I will not run out, and I'll have even distribution of light. I'm making sure that every bulb is coming from the back to the front and sticking out, so that way I have as much light as possible and none of it is going to get dimmed by having the stars in front of it. It'll be peeking out from behind your stars. All right, so I've brought my gold stars in from outside, and now I am ready to put them over my brown paper. So this is where the brown paper comes in. What I like most about it is that it's see-through enough that your lights are going to shine through it. If I were to do this with like brown paper bag paper or that type of brown wrapping paper, it would just stop the light glow. So this will let the light glow through. You could also use burlap if you wanted to go for a really rustic look. So this glitter spray paint was intense. Um, and actually, if you look at the label, it says intense shimmer finish, and they're not kidding. This Rust-Oleum stuff, I thought I was gonna need like a few coats, but it came blasting out of the can and put so much glitter on this that it's kind of amazing. So yeah, just be careful when you're using this stuff. It's crazy. Okay, so my stars are all cut out and glittered up. I am loving the way that they turned out. You could even make a few extra of these and use them as ornaments. Just add a few hooks if you wanted to tie this wreath in with your tree, or if you have a garland, that would be a good idea. So I'm really liking just this star shape by itself. But we're not done yet. We have to attach them to our wreath. Now, for my smaller wreath, I thought I would take the opportunity to show you another way of decorating these wreaths that you might like as much or even better than the big wreath. For this option, you'll actually have to spray paint your Christmas lights. I'm going to start to lay out the pattern for the wreath. I would suggest laying out the pattern by using the underside of your wreath to figure out where your stars need to go. Once I've gotten a basic ring of stars, I can kind of move them as I need to. If I see where, maybe this one needs to be turned a little bit or pushed in or pushed out so that it lines up perfectly with the wreath. And now I know that if I kind of work in this circle like that the stars are all going to go where they need to go. And I can kind of overlap some of them a little bit. If you're worried that you've changed the shape of your circle, you can always bring your wreath back and just make sure that, oops, like that. If you accidentally push something out of the way, you can always bring your wreath back and kind of lay it down and just, okay, that. And wherever I have a gap like this, I can use some of the smaller stars to bridge the gap and make sure that everything sticks together. This part is pretty simple. Just lay it on top. Make sure that it's nice and centered. I'm actually covering up more of my wires this way, so make sure to kind of play around with it and get it how you like it. And all we're going to do is take either our twine or gold wire and wrap it around. Thank you for watching my video. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and found it easy to follow along with. Please subscribe because I have so much more in store for you, not just decor, but also costumes and just a lot of behind the scenes stuff of how things get made. So subscribe if you would like updates on that. And if you decide to make your own wreaths, and especially if you do your own color variations or have additions, anything to make it, put your own stamp on it, please, please, please send me pictures. My Instagram is Jacoby Rose Makes Clothes, and it should be in the description box, so make sure that you check that out. And yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, enjoy.